Hey, I'm Tom Holland, and I'm going under.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Tom Holland just posted a giant Spider-Man video talking about all things Tobey Maguire, future Spider-Man films like Spider-Man 4, live-action Miles Morales crossover, and Deadpool crossover, so we'll break it all down. There's a new round of that Spider-Man Far From Home Blu-ray giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your best live-action Miles Morales theory on the video. Just going down the list, number 5, he talks about doing Miles Morales in the Spider-Man movies, the new, now Sony Spider-Man solo movies, because technically he isn't in the MCU anymore and Marvel isn't helping them out. We just learned that Sony and Marvel had originally planned on doing 4 solo Tom Holland movies. Sony said that they're still doing that, so when we're talking about Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 4, we temporarily have to think of them as being Sony movies. And originally in Spider-Man Far From Home, they were going to have Miles' uncle, Aaron Davis, the Prowler, played by Donald Glover from Spider-Man Homecoming, come back and do a cameo, but they cut it out when it came time to shoot the movie because there was all this extra stuff at the beginning with him in New York City running around. It was a bigger version of the to-do list, like they released the extended cut in theaters with that extra to-do list clip.
Hey, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
So during those scenes, we would have seen Aaron Davis come back, and even though he's only on the way to becoming full-blown Prowler from the comics, that would have just been another way to sort of seed Miles along, him referencing his nephew. As far as we know timeline, Miles was another one of those people that got snapped, so he's still relatively young. It's not one of those Brad situations where he's 5 years older, so now he's almost the same age as Peter Parker. The way Tom Holland is talking about the Miles character, though, makes it sound like he doesn't want to do a literal adaptation of Ultimate Spider-Man, where Peter has to die in order for Miles to be able to take the mantle and become the Spider-Man of his Earth. But based on what Kevin Feige and the Sony people had originally said about the arc of Peter Parker's Spider-Man in the MCU is that it was taking him through high school Harry Potter style. So it was all about him eventually becoming this fully actualized version of the character. So number 4, it seemed like Spider-Man 3 just supposed to be John Wick 3 Spider-Man, him on the next step, Spider-Man Hunted, with Kraven as the main villain, as far as we've heard based on all the director and producer comments around Spider-Man Far From Home. So it just doesn't feel like they have room for live-action Miles Morales right now without it feeling like they're severely shoehorning him into the universe. But they can totally work up to introducing him in a big way sometime during Spider-Man 4, and then if everything works out, develop that spin-off trilogy and call it Ultimate Spider-Man or live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Because Amy Pascal did say they were considering doing a live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse eventually. But first you have to introduce live-action Miles Morales, then Sony can actually do Spider-Verse with Tom Holland and whoever they get to play Miles, and it's an opportunity to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield if they really want to go for that. That seems like it's so far off though, that's why I'm not planning on them even attempting something like that till after Spider-Man 4, whatever that 4th film winds up being, whether it's Sinister 6 or it winds up being their big Spider-Man Venom crossover. 3, he compares his version of Spider-Man to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. This probably pissed off a lot of Tobey Maguire stans. He's a big fan of those classic Spider-Man films just as much as anyone, but still asserts that his Spider-Man is superior because he has more room to grow. That's always subjective, but when you go back and you rewatch those Tobey movies, he really was playing a much older version of the character, like a 30-something looking actor playing a 20-something Peter Parker, as opposed to teenage Peter Parker Tom Holland. And unless there's a giant time jump between Spider-Man Far From Home and the beginning of Spider-Man 3, he's still going to be a teenager during Spider-Man 3. 2, love all the Robert Pattinson Batman shoutouts. I've included part of that clip in my Batman movie video yesterday. I didn't realize they were actually friends in real life, but it would be funny to see them both show up in a DC movie together, even though that will never ever happen. Some of you are even fan casting Tom Holland as his Robin. I think he's a little too old for Dick Grayson Robin, but that would be hilarious if they ever turned that into a Saturday Night Live sketch or something like that. In number 1, he jokes about a TV show and crossing over with Deadpool. When he says you might not have to wait that long to see him on a TV show, he's not necessarily talking about a Spider-Man TV show because just a little while ago, we found out that Lord & Miller are developing live-action Spider-Man TV shows for Sony. That was before the big Marvel-Sony Spider-Man split, and technically I think that Marvel still holds a lot of the Spider-Man TV rights, so I don't know how that's going to affect what Sony's plans are for live-action Spider-Verse in the TV shows. Because if they can find the right story, the right people to work on those, and the right actors to play those live-action versions, that would be really badass. But we'll get more information about those TV shows later this year. I think the whole Marvel-Sony split around D23 surprised everyone, and the dust is still settling from that. They haven't come back to the table to start renegotiating and getting Spider-Man back in the MCU. So that also gets into the idea of the Deadpool crossover that he jokes about. Before the big Marvel-Sony split, I would have said definitely they share some funny scenes together in a future Avengers movie crossover, but right now, until they bring Spider-Man back into the MCU, the best that Deadpool could do would just be making a ton of Spider-Man jokes. But because it's going to be bare minimum at least 4 to 5 years before the next Avengers movie, Avengers 5, winds up dropping, they have plenty of time to work out a sharing arrangement. When you look at the Marvel Phase 4 schedule, Spider-Man wasn't going to be popping up in any of these other movies anyway, so it wasn't like we were going to be seeing him a ton outside of the Spider-Man solo films. So as bad as it seems right now, things won't be that different than they were going to be before he technically left the MCU. And because of Sony's recent comments, there's still a lot of questions about that, because they did say that they were continuing the story that Kevin Feige and the Marvel people set up in Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. So even if they lose access to some of the A-list Avengers Marvel characters, they'll still be able to use a lot of the story that they developed in the MCU Spider-Man solo films. But post all your Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 4 theories in the comments below, and do you actually think that they will go for live-action Miles Morales by Spider-Man 4? Sony really likes setting up those spin-off franchise movies, and it feels like they would jump at the chance to do a spin-off franchise with Miles Morales. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening this week. I'll try to get to the videos as fast as possible, but leave all your requests and big questions in the comments below. While you wait for everything, click here for my brand new Marvel Phase 4 Fantastic Four video, and click here for that brand new Birds of Prey trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.